Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to episode 2 of the Behind the Stripes podcast. My name is Rama, Peroo. I'm joined by Cowley former baseball coach and legend Dave Burroughs, member of the Tiger Athletic Hall of Fame. And we're happy to have as today's guest, Cowley Athletic Director Jeff Fluty. Jeff, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, thank you very much. Can't tell you how I'd like to spend lunch, but this is pretty close.
Well, we're very happy to have you. Just a little bit about Jeff. He's been employed here at Cowley since 2005, been the athletic director since June 2023, and under his direction, the Tiger Athletic programs have achieved numerous accomplishments, and Fluty has helped elevate the Cowley Athletic programs to new heights. So very happy to have him on today. And we'll get rolling right off the bat. Start off, Jeff, can you tell us a little bit about your early life? We're going to go way back here, but I know you come from kind of a military background. How was that for you growing up?
It really molded me into who I am today, actually. My dad was in the Air Force. First, he was in the Navy before I even knew what the Navy was. But he was in there, enlisted for a little bit, and then he coached for a little while, went back to school, got his master's at K-State, and decided to go to officers training school in San Antonio, Texas. And that's when it all began for me to experience that military kind of upbringing, living that lifestyle. It really taught me a lot. Primarily, he taught me a lot to do with respect and honoring and treating people the right way and just living a life that is really law-abiding and a good citizen, really. So it taught me a lot. I wouldn't trade it for anything. My dad really helped me grow up into the man I am today. So I'm thankful for that. But living that military, that gave me a lot of experiences. Lived in different states. I moved over to Germany for about 3 years during my high school years, and that was an eye-opener, being a new culture. But I'm really grateful for it. I wouldn't trade it for the world. Like I said, it really helped me develop who I am today, give me that experience in another country, another environment outside of the United States. And looking back on it, really grateful and loved it.
Wonderful. You've been in the athletic field for quite some time. What got you interested, initially in athletics?
Probably been my dad. Initially, I remember going and playing catch with him, whether it's a football or baseball, basketball. He was growing up, I think, more of a basketball and baseball guy. So we started doing that at a young age, and I just started from there. And then I started, playing with kids in the neighborhood like we used to do, and then I got involved with a little bit of sports here and there, and it's been a part of my life ever since.
Wonderful. I think Coach and I can relate to you. Whenever we were growing up, there wasn't all the video games and things like that. So, kids were outside playing sports, and that's what we all did.
That's how I learned, playing against older kids in really the neighborhood and stuff like that, to where you had to learn how to run with your head on a swivel back in those days because somebody could have declit you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you're always riding your bike around looking for enough kids to get a game out there, whatever it was.
It didn't
baseball,
matter.
Basketball, football.
Yeah, I remember being 11, 12 years old playing against guys that were, backyard football that were juniors and seniors in high school, and they didn't take it easy on you.
Oh, heck no.
They probably didn't cut you any slack.
No, and that's what helped me, to go on, and it was like, I'm used to this. I mean, not that I haven't seen by the time I got in high school. I've been knocked out before. This is no big deal.
That's right.
Or even on the baseball side of it, I didn't know what a breaking ball or a curveball was, for our people who are listening. But it's like, oh my gosh, what was that? So, it just had to learn how to compete at a different level, and it really helped me grow as an athlete, and even as a person, because I had to learn how to deal with adversity at a young age.
For sure. And now, Jeff, you say that, you grew up several different locations. How did you end up at Southwestern College? How did you end up at Winfield, Kansas, where you went on and got your 4-year degree?
Well, a lot of family lived there. My mom's parents lived there in town, my grandparents. And so we've been there off and on times, lived there for a short period when I was in 3rd grade while my dad was finishing some stuff in school, but never really lived there a long extent until after I graduated high school, and then I moved back to Winfield. My grandpa owned Fox's Body and Glass there in town, which is a body shop, and then my Uncle Gary. So I wanted to go back and kind of get started on that a little bit and be a part of that, and then live with my grandparents. So
Nice.
it was a give and take. It was a good thing. So that's how I came back to Winfield initially, and then I ended up getting married, and then worked at Jarvis Auto Supply there in town, which doesn't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I worked there for 11 years, and I finally got to the point where, it's like I'm not really enjoying this. So I was like, what do I like to do?
Mm-hmm.
So, well, I love sports. What can I do in sports? And then I started developing this really love always. It ended up being a really strong like, or a love, whatever you want to call it, of medicine. So I really enjoyed the human body. I wanted to learn more about it. So I thought, thinking, well, what are some professions I can do where I can mix those two things? I ran into this thing called athletic training, and athletic training does that, traditionally speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, you don't have to be even in sports to be called an athletic trainer, but when I decided to do it, that was primarily it. That was like 1998
Okay.
when I decided to go back to school. So I worked full-time, decided to get back into the school, do what I needed to do to become an athletic trainer, and Southwestern happened to be in Winfield in town. My dad was also a graduate of Southwestern as well. So that kind of helped me continue to work and go to class, and then also get involved with the athletic side of things in sports medicine. And that's how
Terrific.
it all started.
Amazing. That's how our paths kind of crossed. I was at the Winfield Courier as the sports editor, and
Yeah.
you were there at Southwestern getting
remember.
your start in athletic training, and so we've known each other for a long time. Can you tell me, and then from Southwestern, you go on and you get your master's degree and you do these things, but what led to you to come in 2005, though, to come to Cowley College? How did that all come about?
Well, ultimately, I'll give you the short answer. Tom Saya, the athletic director here at the time at Cowley, called me. And he said, hey, I see maybe you might be looking for a new place to work. I'm like, well, potentially. Who is this?
Right.
And that's how I first started talking to Tom. He goes, are you interested? I said, sure, I'll come and talk to you. So came here for an interview, enjoyed him, obviously. We kicked it off, pretty good from the get-go. I can tell he was a pretty aggressive athletic director, enjoyed being successful, wanted to win, and that was kind of a nice change for me, which I've always wanted to do that and be involved with that. But I hadn't had real good experiences, some, but not real great ones. And I thought, how great would it be to have a boss that thought that way? So ultimately, I was offered the job. He called me on the phone, I think, the next day. And I go, well, I need a little time to think about it. He goes, well, I'll give you till tomorrow because we need to move on this. And I said,
Wow.
that's just like Tom.
Sounds like Tom, exactly.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, no problem. I'll call you tomorrow. And then I accepted the position, and then I've been here ever since.
Wow, terrific. Coach Burroughs has been in that role too, where twice you filled in as interim athletic director. You know the challenges that go with running an institution like Cowley College, and the demands and the how they strive for excellence. So I know you know a lot about what Jeff deals with on a day-to-day basis, and have a lot of respect for what he does.
Absolutely. And before I go any farther, I want to say he's a really, really good athlete trainer too, one of the best.
That's for sure. Thank you for saying that.
He helped our our program out. I can't speak for anybody else, but just knowing that, I know what he did for everybody. But before I got out of the business, basically we would turn things over to him. And one year we go to Wichita play, my last year actually, and like, okay, Jeff, it's going to be hot. Need your expertise. What are we going to do? We just turned it over to him. So he took care of the nutritional part, the hydration part. And if I remember right, Jeff, I think we run with everybody there.
Yeah, we rolled through that.
Yeah.
One of my greatest memories.
Wow. Yeah, and you know what? And I give Jeff a lot of credit because their guys, they just got stronger. And the weather, it could be like in the middle of May here, the humidity's high, and playing on that turf is going to be a little bit different. But he just took it and ran with it. And like, well, you did so good here, we might as well because now you go to the altitude, and the altitude's going to be a little different. Not as much humidity, but
up in Grand Junction.
But the pressure's probably greater. I don't know. I've always said for years I thought playing in the regional tournament was more stressful than playing in the national tournament. It's kind of like you've got to where you've been working for all year long, and the pressure's on you, and to get to the national tournament, and we felt like it was always 1-7 or 1-8 in the regional tournament. People came to beat us out of it because we had dominated that thing for so long. So, you know, but back to the story. Yeah, Jeff was, you know, like I said, he gets a big assist. We passed him the ball, and he just took it and ran with it. So I wish I'd have been smart enough to went to him earlier and said that. But he put our guys back together. He was really good with guys in rehab. He was really good with diagnosing. He knew how to get guys on the field to push. He also knew when they didn't need to be out there. So yeah. So my work relationship with him has been off the chart, you know, and he had a big hand in our success.
Well, nice of you to say, Dave. Thank you so much. I just want to be a part of the team. Contributing part of the team.
You were part of the team. You were.
Win.
Yeah, you were.
That was my outlook. It still is.
Yeah, we would stop and Jeff speak. We would listen. He had a little E.F. Hutton experience there every time. You know, when he said something, we listened to him.
Right.
Because it was all about optimal. You know, we wanted to play to our very best, and he was going to allow us to do that with doing this. And you hear stuff guys would. And I didn't hear anybody complain like, "Oh gosh, here we go again. Got to eat another banana or whatever." You know, that never came up. That just never came up.
Well, you know, you mentioned team, and this shows how much a team everybody is here at Cowley, and how much of a team player Jeff is. He's not only the athletic director here at Cowley, but I would swear you're still doing all the athletic training duties too. I mean, you still are always willing to help. Anytime somebody needs something in the athletic training world, you're there to help. So we appreciate that so much because, you know, we're a junior college. We're not some big 4-year college. It's got just, you know, an unbelievable athletic training staff full of 20, 30 people. There's Blake Smith, our head athletic trainer. He's got some individuals underneath him as well, Ainsley Carson, and some other student workers that help them. But you know, you're always there to jump right in and help with that, and I think that's something you still enjoy to do occasionally. I know it's more work on your plate, but we sure appreciate all you do with that.
It's hard to turn it off. I don't think I ever will. I'm still certified. I'm not going to let that lapse. I'm an athletic trainer at heart. I enjoy taking care of people. I enjoy taking care of Cowley athletes. I just want to be. I don't want to get in the way. It's not my primary job anymore, but I'm definitely there to jump in when needed, and I really like still being able to provide some of that if we need it.
And he left it in good hands, and
yes,
you know, and Blake's done a really good job. He's taking the ball and run with it too. But I always used to tell Jeff all the time, man, if somebody calls me with a big time job, get ready to go because I'm going to take you with us. You could be one of those staff members who are going to get to come and go. You know, we're going to ask you to go. You might tell us no, but we're going to ask anyway.
That's right. Well, and Jeff, you know, so people know a little bit more about you outside of Cowley too. I mean, I know that you seem like a fixture here at Cowley. Seems like that's where you're at all the time. But I mean, there is a life away from Cowley. What does that, you know, consist of for you? Family, wife, kids? How's that all?
Yeah. At times there is no.
Right.
I've learned over time to. This is one of the hardest things to do is to say no. When you get ingrained into your job and you really are invested in a place like I am at Cowley, you're always striving to think about, well, what can I do better? How can I add this extra? How can I do this and that? So that can creep into your family life really quick. The next thing you know, you've kind of turned your head unwillingly or unknowingly, and you miss some things. So I've learned over the years which I did later when I was the athletic trainer here, probably my last 3 to 4 years. I was like, you know what, I need to put a stop to some of this and put a divide there, and you know, give my wife a little more time, give my family some more time. So it took a little maturing on my part to understand that, and a little experience and some success and failure, and understanding, hey, I'm missing some things here to understand that. But yes, my wife, Jancy, I just married her last year, but we've been together for 20 years.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Congrats.
Yep, thank you. I married her, and she had I have 4 children from her marriage previously, and then I have 2 of my own.
Awesome.
So we were the Brady Bunch there for quite a while.
Sure were.
But now they're all out of the house, and we got this house that's empty, and it's just her and I. And sometimes we're just sitting there going, okay. But we've learned to do. She likes to travel, so we travel quite a bit.
Great.
We go to places, which is really good because you get to experience things and see things. And she always tells me, you know, that's how we're going to experience things, is go places and see things, and do things together. And so you're right. So really grateful to have my family. Love my kids. I love Jancy, my parents, everybody. But also, Cowley is an extension of my family, and I've always thought that way. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to come here, because I got that vibe from Tom Saya, and lo and behold, I started experiencing. I was like, hey, this is real. It's real here. This is part of this culture. This is the reason why we're so successful over the years. I could see it, and now I was part of it. Now I'm still a part of it.
Coach?
It's different for sure. There's no question about it. I do have a question. I won't put you on the spot, but it's going to make it pretty easy. You've been here a long time. Tell me your Mount Rushmore of your best events that you recall that stand out in your mind as being like, wow, that was pretty special.
Well, you mentioned one of them when we won the region title that year. It was not only because of what we did, but I remember that I usually drove myself separately most of the time. So, and then of course we're only an hour away from Wichita, so Dave would jump in with me every day, and we'd go back and forth, and just the conversations and the talks that we had, you know, going there and coming back, it kind of added to it, which made it even more memorable. So it's those little intricate things, you know, that most people don't realize and don't know. I mean, fans just go to games, they see the games, that's it. But in sports and athletics, there's so many other things that people don't see, feel, understand, experience that really make it special.
Yeah, that trip, I've been in enough motels. I wanted to drive back and forth. We had a really good time, and we talked about nutrition. Took good care of me too. We went to Jason's Deli about every day.
We did.
Yeah,
my dad's favorite place.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It was awesome. We had a really good time.
It was awesome. No, but that's one example. You know, I'm an athletic trainer. I'm going to take care of our athletes and take care of our sports no matter what we do. When I was an athletic trainer, but I love to win and I like to be successful. So I want to do everything in my power to help us do that from whatever I had the opportunity to do. So I would say any championships we won were always memorable, whether it was a conference champion, a region champion, or a national champion. And here we are today. I'm still striving to think that way and do those things. Whether it's an individual championship or a team championship, it's a department championship. I really think that we have a lot of sports here, and we have a lot of different approaches to different sports. Anytime you can reach a championship level, one, you should have that goal. If you don't have that goal, then there's a problem. That's my opinion on this, and I know Dave shares that opinion with me as well. So why not have it? I mean, you're not going to do it unless you believe in it, right? So you need to believe, and you need to develop that intrinsic psychological aspect of sport, which is so important, even more so today, to where, you know, you think it, then you can do it. And that's real important to me too. So it's hard to pick out one of them. When I read something about a question the other day, that's the first one that popped in my head, Dave, was our experience there when we just rolled through that tournament, and the way it all went out and how we did it. It was special.
And I didn't know at that time that was going to be my last season. I had a thought that it might be, and when I walked off the field in Grand Junction, I thought, I'm not for sure, but this might be the last time I put this uniform on. And I remember thinking about that trip itself. And the one thing that Jeff, you know, I want to add too, losing never gets old. I've never got tired of it. It didn't take me long to get tired of losing, but winning never gets old, man. I mean, you can do it time and time again, but there is a price to pay. You got to learn to value a lot of different aspects, what it takes to go in and win. It doesn't happen overnight. If it was easy, everybody could do it, you know. And we've seemed to have it figured out a little bit better than most.
For sure. And, you know, Jeff, you talk about the mental aspect a little bit. You touched on that. But, you know, I think that's huge for you. You really believe that the mental aspect is so important in athletics. Can you tell me how that came about with you, to where you realized that, you know, this is really, you know, the athlete's got to be talented. You know, you got to have that athletic ability, but the mental side of things is so important.
You know, as silly as it might sound, I think it all started. My dad used to always say, Jeff, just control what you can control.
Mm-hmm.
And then that is all a mental approach. So the more that you think like that, even that phrase today is something that is used in athletics all the time, to try not to busy your mind so much that you can't stay in a moment and then worrying about the things that have no consequence because you have no control over it. So it's the same in athletics, and that's one of the things that really got me thinking about it a little bit more a long time ago. And here it is. It's just blown up into a huge part of sports and athletics today, and the reason why individuals and teams are so successful, because, you know, the mental side is huge when it comes to someone being able to accomplish something. Mm-hmm. And if you can think about what pushes your buttons and think about your particular mindset that gets you to where you need to be successful, you need to put yourself there as much as possible, as many times as possible, because you know that's what works for you.
Yeah.
So it can be individualistic, but there are a lot of things that are just common in psychology of sport, whether it's team dynamics or individual motivational aspects, even coaches and how they motivate or try to encourage and coach their players, to the dynamics within a team with team leaders, and roles that are played, and really finding out that intrinsic motivation. You know, that intrinsic motivation is huge, and it'll never go away. It's that motivation that burns inside of you. Mm-hmm. It's nothing external. It's all intrinsic. And really my whole thought process on motivation is you really truly can't motivate anybody to do anything. They have to have that motivation inside them first and foremost. Now, you can tweak it. I've seen Coach Dave tweak it a lot in a positive way, but you need to have that within you for sure. There's so many things in sports psychology these days, but I teach a class in the spring, and I'm getting ready to teach another one this spring, Introduction into Sports Psychology.
Great.
So I try to keep up with it, preach it, express it, give our players and athletes here opportunities to think that way and to hear things along those lines. And I want our coaches, obviously, to buy into that approach, too, because I know how important it is, and it is a difference maker.
Oh, gosh,
for
I'm
sure.
I mean, I know Coach Davis had to have seen it firsthand, you know, especially on the baseball side of things with the mental aspect when you're coming up to the plate and you got to have a clear mind and
so
block
much,
out all the outside elements.
There's just so much failure involved in it, too, and you got to learn how to deal with that, too. So it's just, you know, there's not a student athlete on this campus that doesn't want to win.
Right.
But there's not many that come in here at the very beginning that know what it actually takes. I mean, so that's the part you have to tweak. I mean, like I said, you got to learn. They got to learn the value practice. That's the biggest thing, because practice hasn't been that big a deal.
We're talking about practice?
Well, there's not that many, but there you go. But okay, Allen Iverson comes along every now and then, but Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, those are the two hardest working guys in the field in the profession at that time, and that's where your daily improvement comes from. Is practice. It's not the game. The game's kind of like the test, but the practice is the study guide. It's the homework. It's the extra preparation and stuff like that. And if you're not prepared, you're not going to pass the test. So how are you going to win a game? You're just not going to. It's not going to happen. So, you know, and I think Jeff is right too, because I remember back when I was in spring training, the coordinator, he I don't know, Script was, I think, an outfielder, but he was talking to a group of us, and we're sitting down there one day in the bleachers, and he goes, okay, and the question was, what do you want out of this game? And every answer, I want to play in the big leagues. Well, we all thought that was the right answer. He gets to the end of the speech, and he goes, well, there is a guy named George Brett in our organization, and he's the only one that's ever answered this question like this. He goes, I want to be in the Hall of Fame.
Wow.
So what burned inside of him was different than what was burning inside the rest of us. But still, you have to think like that to be able to get to that spot. And it kind of opened up something different. And, you know, when I took this job, it's like, and really I was scoffed at, because I took this thing over and like, okay, we're going to win a national title here, like in 5 or 6 years. And people laugh, like, come on now. You're not even the best team in Ark City.
No doubt.
hang on.
Yeah.
Just hang on, and you know what? So
you had that vision, though.
yeah,
Dreamed
and
believed it.
it's transformational. You got to be able to have people share that dream with you as well, and we got that. And Tom came along, and you know our staff at that time was Lefty and Henny. They all felt the same way, so we had ourselves surrounded with people and our players. It was easy for them to buy into it.
Sure.
And Coach Tom come out there and he go football on them sometimes because we didn't play good. Like, yeah, they'll pay no. You know, no, he's got some points, guys. You got to listen to, because I think it's why it's so good to have people come in and talk to your players.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a different, different perspective with somebody that's acting like they're not nagging at you.
There you go.
Because that nothing happens when that happens. You know, it's all negative. You need somebody to come in and go, okay, look. However, there are times when you're going to have to face some difficulties, some adversity. So.
It's like that head coach, assistant coach. You know,
Yeah,
head coach can
good
kinda
cop, bad cop, yeah.
kind of tear you down a little bit.
Yeah.
But the assistant coach comes over and says, hey, this is what he's saying. This is what he means.
Absolutely.
You know, you're okay.
Somebody got to be able to pat you on the back when somebody's kicked you in the hiney.
That's
So
right.
that's just the way it goes. But, you know.
Hey, can I add one more thing? He just reminded me, he talked about the fear aspect. And that's one of the things I've really grabbed a hold of here towards the end of my experiences as far as an athletic trainer was I could see the things that held most athletes back when it comes to their mindset. And I would say for most people, it's fear of failure. Most people get their mind wrapped around that fear of failure thought. And the next thing you know, they're slowing down, they're questioning, they're wondering if they can actually do it. It's really creates, it allows an athlete not to be an athlete. So what I've said here is it's the idea of fear of failure, or the total opposite, which what I call pride of success. It's just thinking about how am I going to do this well, envisioning it, saying it, and doing it. Mm-hmm. And there are a few unique people in the world that can actually do their best when they say, hey, I suck. Most people don't, but there are some that do. A lot of it has to do, I think, with the way that you're probably raised.
Yeah, upbringing.
And generational
Absolutely.
speaking. Like coaches that we had, we coach a lot different than coaches today. And the mindset of the young people are a little different than they are back then. But I would say that's pretty key. If you can try to help that person or help that athlete understand, hey, let's get that fear out of your way, because that fear is going to slow you down and it's going to keep you from being who you really are. And that's this student athlete or athlete that has speed, agility, great eye coordination. You know, if you think with fear, it usually lessens those.
Oh, good point, Jeff. A couple fun questions before we're done here. Well, fun, maybe this first one's not so fun, but you and I have this in common, lifelong Pittsburgh fans, sports fans.
Yes.
So that can be fun at times. It can be torturous at times. Being a Pirates fan has had a lot of lean years. Steelers have had a lot of lean years for our expectations that we have as Steelers fans too. But just, you know, and I don't mean to spring this on you. How did you become a Pittsburgh sports fan?
Okay, this one's pretty easy. 1978.
Yeah,
I was 7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I was living in Liberal, Kansas. My dad was an assistant basketball coach for the Liberal Redskins.
Okay.
And I just remember this. It happened to be a football game on TV. I didn't even know what it really was all about or anything. And I think my dad told me it's the Super Bowl. And I go, who's playing? He goes, Pittsburgh and Dallas.
Yeah.
And, for some reason, my dad wanted Dallas to win. But I just started watching. He's go, ooh, that black team looks pretty cool.
Yeah, those uniforms kind of neat.
That looks pretty cool. So I don't know if it's the dark side in me that was brought out. But anyway, that's really where it all started. And I was like, you know what? I like that black and yellow team.
Yeah. Well, I guess it was good that they were on and not the Raiders, because you might have liked the Raiders instead, and it could have been even more lean.
That'd have been a disaster.
Could have been.
Then the following year, the Pirates won a World Series with We Are the Family
That's
theme,
how I
too.
became a Pittsburgh fan. Was Steelers in the Super Bowl, Pirates in the World Series. I thought, hey, I'm going to cheer for these winning teams as a 6-year-old kid, and the Pirates have never won a World Series since. And
that was easy to be
5 years without a Super Bowl after that until they won 5.
To be a Pittsburgh fan in those days was pretty cool.
It was. It
Now,
was.
if you're still a Pittsburgh fan after all these years, you've dealt with depression because they've lost a lot.
Yeah, Jeff's one of the few Pirates fans I know on this planet. So there's not a lot of Pittsburgh Pirates fans out there, Coach.
I have been to that stadium. I know you guys have too, and
beautiful.
It's the most beautiful stadium I've ever seen.
PNC is picturesque, almost majestic at times. When
You're right.
You know,
That
when you think
skyline.
about things, and then the players that have played in that organization, and Roberto Clemente Bridge, and all that. It's quite the experience, especially if you're a Pittsburgh fan.
For sure, yeah. Hoping that better times are ahead for the Pirates. But as long as there's no salary cap in baseball, it's going to be pretty tough to catch up with those teams like the Dodgers and stuff.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah, but they just need to get a new ownership group in there that can help them try to win. But one other thing that I thought was kind of neat, too, that we have in common is I was a big Damn Yankees fan, still am, the band Damn Yankees. And Ted Nugent was a big member in that band. I know you're a fan of Ted Nugent.
I am.
How did you get first listening to Ted, and how have you stayed such a fan of his through all these years?
You know, I don't know when I first listened. I do remember weird things from my childhood. And I remember being in my dad's 1977 Buick Regal. I think it was silver. It might not have been his car. It might have been his car. But it was a song came on, Cat Scratch Fever. I was like,
Oh, yeah.
it just was groovy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it had a nice beat to it, and I enjoyed it. And it was rhythm and blues. I mean, it was bluesy at the
Right.
time. I'm saying these now, but I didn't think that when I was a kid. I was like, hey, this just sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, cool sound.
So I was really, really young at the time, and I really didn't think anything of it, but I did like it at that time. But as I got older, I started getting into, bow hunting a little bit, and I started. It was the 80s, so, it was a lot of hair band stuff.
yeah.
I loved guitars. If
Yeah.
it didn't have a loud guitar in it, I probably wouldn't listen to it.
Yeah.
And then I started listening to more like Ted Nugent type stuff, and trying to hear the differences between guitar playing and stuff like that. I was like, well, why does he make those sounds with that car, but these other guys can't make that sound? So, well, he ends up playing this. He plays a Gibson Birdland guitar, which has a lot of reverb ability to it.
Gives it
It's
that
kind of got a
unique
life of its
sound.
own,
Okay.
but it's also groovy at the same time. So I just started listening more. I was like, man, this really fits my ear,
Yeah.
And then it just took off from there. And then basically, of course, back when he was really young, he would go on stage with a loincloth and swing on a rope and
Yep. The Motor City Madman.
wear the deer skin, buffalo skin boots, and I'm like, this guy's cool.
Yeah, I remember the bow on stage, like you said too,
Yep.
and he would have the bow and arrow,
Yep,
the
yep.
bow trick. It
I
was
want to
great.
be him, huh?
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah, I hear you. I hear
a
you.
unique blend of Tarzan, and a rocker.
How many times have you seen him in concert?
I think it's 23.
Oh my goodness! Wow, I had no idea.
The
That's
last
awesome.
time was about a year and a half ago in Shawnee.
How terrific!
Now he's not officially touring anymore,
Ah.
even though he does some private shows.
Okay.
I have this idea. I think maybe we need to do it. Hall of Fame right around the corner, so when the inductees are introduced at halftime, when Jeff walks out, he needs his walk-up song. Cat.
Yeah, Scratch Fever. Yeah, exactly. Stranglehold for you.
Yeah, hey, it's funny you say that. I have added that to some of our pregame stuff.
Nice, I love
now,
it.
Jeremy knows this, but
Yeah.
Jeremy's the only one. Well, now you guys do.
Okay, we'll know
So,
this is a request from Jeff. Here we are.
I'll sneak in a little stranglehold, a little cat scratch,
Yeah.
a little Fredbear here and there.
Works for me. Heck yeah.
Yeah, these student athletes don't know, but at least they hear it.
This will be the wildest Hall of Fame ever. I can't wait.
Good
Yeah.
question. It's just one of those little weird things, that I wouldn't call it really weird, but it's certainly particular to me.
Well, and it's great for people that are listening to the podcast or watching the podcast to be able to get an opportunity to know more about you outside of what you do here at Cowley. We appreciate everything you do for Cowley. You like I say, we mentioned Tom Saya before, Dr. Pat McAtee, president. We were all here during their time. They kind of set that bar. And expectations are high at Cowley. If you're in athletics, like you said, Jeff, you're in it to win it. I mean, what are we doing it for unless we're trying to be the best at it? So we appreciate you and all you do to give the coaches, the opportunity to be successful. And, like I said, not only just doing everything you do as an athletic director, which is unbelievable challenges and the work you put in, but then on the athletic training side of things too still. So we appreciate that very much, and we really enjoyed having you as a guest today.
Oh, nice of you to say. I just want to say this type Behind the Stripes podcast is legit. And having you two guys run it, there's nobody better.
Well,
Appreciate it.
No, you guys are special. This is special. So very, very thankful for the opportunity to come in and talk about Cowley. That's the key thing. And I know as shows go on and as we continue to have these shows, they're going to get better and better.
That's right.
And we're going to get to see and hear a lot of Cowley coaches, athletes, all the things that maybe everybody doesn't really understand or see.
Mm-hmm.
This is why it's so good,
Well, and a person, you mentioned the podcast, a person that's made this all possible, Chris Ripley. He's behind the scenes and not really, but he's the one. This is what you're seeing here. This is all Chris Ripley's doing. So we thank him so much for making this possible. And with him, Coach Dave, myself, and Jeff here at this table, we have almost 100 years of experience at Cowley here, but amongst the four of us. So it says a lot about this institution, that we want to stay somewhere this long, and we've been fortunate enough to be here.
Because that doesn't happen really.
No.
Not very often. So people come and this is the place. This is home.
Mm-hmm.
This is home.
Hey, it's the Tiger way. I don't know how else to say it. It's been the Tiger way for a lot of years. I'm just glad to be part of it.
Well, and that's a perfect way to wrap the show up. So episode 2 of Behind the Stripes podcast, we appreciate you all out there for tuning in, and we'll have this every Tuesday at noon. So until next time, thank you all for joining us.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.